O.C. Davis. Ossie Davis, once a prominent figure in the civil rights movement and a celebrated actor known for his powerful performances in film and theater, gradually retreated from the spotlight after decades of fame. His peak visibility came through roles that not only showcased his talent but also his commitment to social justice, making him a beloved figure in American culture. However, as the pressures of fame mounted, Davis chose to step away, focusing instead on writing and directing, ultimately finding solace in a quieter life. Today, he is remembered not just for his contributions to entertainment, but for his profound impact on societal change, leaving behind a legacy that resonates far beyond the silver screen. Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby, once the smooth-voiced king of holiday cheer, dominated the airwaves in the mid-20th century with his iconic renditions and charming presence in films like White Christmas. However, as the years passed, the pressures of fame, along with a shifting entertainment landscape, led him to step back from the limelight. He made a conscious choice to retreat into a quieter life, focusing on family and personal passions, including golf and philanthropy. Now, Crosby's legacy endures not just in his music and film roles but in the warmth of nostalgia he evokes, a reminder of a different era, where the man behind the microphone was as compelling as the melodies he sang. Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates first captured the spotlight in the iconic 1982 film Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where her memorable pool scene became a defining moment of 80s cinema. As her career flourished with hits like Gremlins, the pressures of fame began to take their toll, leading her to step away from the limelight in the early 1990s. Choosing a quieter life, Cates found fulfillment in her family and a successful venture into the world of business with her own boutique. Today, she remains a beloved figure from that era, embodying a sense of nostalgia while embracing a legacy that reflects both her talent and her choice to prioritize personal peace over public adoration. Grace Kelly. At the height of her career, Grace Kelly was the epitome of glamour, enchanting audiences with her poised performances in classics like Rear Window and To Catch a Thief. Yet, in a surprising turn, she chose to step away from the spotlight at the peak of her fame, marrying Prince Rainier III of Monaco in 1956 and embracing a life of royal duty. This decision marked a profound shift from the silver screen to the palace, where she focused on philanthropy and family rather than Hollywood's relentless demands. Today, her legacy endures not just in film history, but also in the hearts of those who remember her as a symbol of grace and dignity, forever intertwined with her royal identity. Mayim Bialik. In the 1990s, Mayim Bialik was a familiar face on television, known for her role as the brainy and endearing Blossom in the hit series of the same name. However, after years of navigating the pressures of fame, she chose to step away from the limelight, prioritizing her education and personal growth. Today, Bialik has reinvented herself as a neuroscientist and author, blending her passion for science with her acting career, most notably through her role on The Big Bang Theory. This transition from child star to respected academic and advocate for mental health reflects a profound legacy, reminding us that walking away from fame can lead to a more meaningful existence. Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John first captivated audiences in the late 1970s with her enchanting voice and iconic role in Grease, becoming a symbol of the era's pop culture. However, her journey took a poignant turn as she faced significant health challenges, including a battle with breast cancer that she made public, advocating for awareness and research throughout her journey. In recent years, Newton-John embraced a quieter life, focusing on her wellness initiatives and spending time with family, all while maintaining her status as a beloved figure in music and film history. Today, she is remembered not only for her artistic contributions, but also for her resilience and dedication to health advocacy. Jack Wagner. In recent years, Jack Wagner has embraced a quieter life, stepping back from the relentless spotlight that once defined him. During the 1980s and 90s, he was a household name, celebrated for his roles on daytime soap operas and as a chart-topping musician, captivating audiences with his charm and talent. However, the pressures of fame took their toll, prompting Wagner to reassess his priorities and ultimately shift his focus towards personal fulfillment and family. Today, he finds solace in a more private existence, occasionally returning to the screen while prioritizing his well-being and passions, leaving fans to ponder the complexities of celebrity life and the choices behind his retreat from the limelight. Sissy Spacek. What happens when the spotlight fades and the applause quiets? In the 1970s and 80s, Sissy Spacek was a household name, celebrated for her roles in films like Carrie and Coal Miner's Daughter, which showcased her remarkable talent and garnered her an Academy Award. However, after decades in the limelight, she made a conscious choice to step back from the relentless demands of Hollywood, seeking a more tranquil life in rural Virginia. Now, Spacek embraces a quieter existence, focusing on family and occasional roles that resonate with her evolved perspective on art and life. Her journey reflects a profound understanding that sometimes peace is the ultimate reward. Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand, a titan of music and film, defined an era with her powerful voice and commanding presence, captivating audiences in the 1960s and 70s with iconic performances in Funny Girl and The Way We Were. Yet, as the pressures of fame mounted, she chose a different path, stepping back from the relentless spotlight to focus on personal projects and advocacy. Now, she embraces a quieter life, often retreating to her home in Malibu, where she continues to create art on her own terms, including directing and producing. Her legacy endures not just in her celebrated works, but in the way she redefined success by prioritizing authenticity over visibility. Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. was a multi-talented performer, celebrated for his singing, dancing, and acting during the height of the Rat Pack era, captivating audiences with charisma and charm. However, his ascent was not without challenges. The intense scrutiny of his personal life, particularly his interracial marriage in a racially charged America, drew significant public controversy. This pressure, coupled with the toll of relentless touring, led him to step back from the limelight in the later years of his career. Today, Davis is remembered as a pioneering figure whose contributions to entertainment continue to resonate, while his choice to retreat from fame serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between celebrity and personal peace. Audrey Hepburn. In the present day, Audrey Hepburn's legacy is often intertwined with her humanitarian work, a stark contrast to her dazzling peak as a Hollywood icon in films like Breakfast at Tiffany's. During the height of her fame, Hepburn was celebrated for her elegance and charm, captivating audiences worldwide. Yet, the relentless pressure of stardom took its toll, leading her to step away from the limelight in the 1960s. Choosing to focus on her family and philanthropic efforts, she embraced a quieter life filled with purpose. Now, she is remembered not just for her cinematic achievements, but for her profound impact on global humanitarian causes, leaving a complex but inspiring legacy behind. Rue McClanahan. In the vibrant landscape of 1980s television, Rue McClanahan shone brightly as the charming and witty Blanche Devereaux on The Golden Girls, captivating audiences with her sultry humor and bold personality. However, after the series concluded, McClanahan chose to step back from the spotlight, seeking a quieter life filled with personal pursuits and philanthropic efforts. Today, her legacy extends beyond her iconic role, as she is remembered for her advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights and her passionate involvement in various charitable causes. This transformation from a beloved television star to a devoted activist reflects a journey of self-discovery, leaving behind an image that continues to inspire while inviting reflection on the complexities of fame. Peter Ostrom. Peter Ostrom first captured the public's attention as Charlie Bucket in the beloved 1971 film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. His performance charmed audiences, but after that peak, he chose to step away from the spotlight, opting for a life far removed from Hollywood. Ostrom pursued a career in veterinary medicine, finding fulfillment in caring for animals rather than performing. This decision, made in the face of the intense pressures of fame, has shaped his current identity as a dedicated veterinarian in New York. Today, He reflects on his brief but impactful foray into film with a sense of peace, embodying the quiet resilience of someone who found joy beyond the limelight. Jessica Tandy. Jessica Tandy was a celebrated actress known for her powerful performances in films like Driving Miss Daisy, which won her an Academy Award later in her career. However, her journey was not without its challenges. She faced significant health issues, including a battle with cancer, which led her to step back from the public eye in the late 1990s. While she remained active in theater and occasionally returned to film, Tandy's later years were marked by a quieter existence, ultimately leading to her passing in 1994. Today, her legacy is one of resilience and talent, remembered not just for her accolades, but for the grace with which she navigated both fame and personal trials. Cicely Tyson. At the height of her career, Cicely Tyson was celebrated for her powerful portrayals of strong African-American women, breaking barriers in a predominantly white industry. Her performances in films like Sounder and the television miniseries The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman showcased her immense talent and earned her critical acclaim. However, after decades in the spotlight, Tyson chose to step away from the relentless demands of fame, seeking a quieter life and a deeper connection to her roots. In her later years, she returned to the screen with purpose, embodying roles that reflected her values and wisdom. Today, she is remembered not just for her iconic roles, but for her unwavering commitment to authenticity and dignity in an industry that often demanded otherwise. Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple, the darling of 1930s cinema, was known for her infectious smile and tap-dancing prowess, captivating audiences in films like Bright Eyes and Curly Top. However, as the years rolled on, the pressures of fame became overwhelming, prompting her to step away from the spotlight in her teens. Instead of fading into obscurity, Temple reinvented herself, serving as a diplomat and advocating for children's causes, ultimately finding fulfillment beyond Hollywood's glitz. Today, she is remembered not only for her iconic roles, but for her commitment to public service, leaving behind a legacy that contrasts sharply with the glittering yet tumultuous world of her youth. Bridget Fonda. Bridget Fonda once graced the silver screen in iconic films like Time's Jackie Brown Times and Time's Single White Female, embodying the bold, independent spirit of the 1990s. Yet, after a flourishing career, she chose to step away from the spotlight, prioritizing her well-being and family life. Today, Fonda lives a quieter existence, often spotted enjoying nature and embracing a more private persona, a stark contrast to her once high-octane public life. This transition reflects a profound personal reinvention as she navigates the complexities of aging and health, allowing her to find peace away from the relentless pressures of fame. In her absence, one can't help but wonder how the world of cinema has shifted without her distinctive presence. Meg Tilly. In the late 1980s, Meg Tilly emerged as a captivating presence in Hollywood, celebrated for her roles in films like The Big Chill and Valmont, where her talent shone brightly amidst a vibrant industry. However, after a successful run, she chose to step away from the limelight, prioritizing her family and personal life over the relentless demands of fame. Today, Tilly has embraced a quieter existence, finding fulfillment as a novelist and nurturing her passion for storytelling away from the public eye. While some may wonder about her absence from the screen, she seems content in her reinvention, leaving behind a legacy that resonates with those who remember her heartfelt performances. Sidney Poitier. In the 1960s, Sidney Poitier emerged as a groundbreaking figure in cinema, celebrated for his powerful performances in films like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and Lilies of the Field, the latter earning him an Academy Award. However, as the years progressed, the pressures of fame took their toll, prompting him to step back from the limelight in the 1970s to focus on directing and personal pursuits. Today, Poitier is remembered not just for his trailblazing roles, but also for his quiet retreat from Hollywood, choosing a life of reflection and mentorship. His legacy endures, symbolizing both the challenges of stardom and the grace found in stepping away. Sean Connery. Once a global icon, Sean Connery enjoyed unparalleled fame as the original James Bond, captivating audiences with his suave demeanor and charisma. However, as the pressures of stardom mounted, he gradually stepped away from the limelight, ultimately choosing a quieter life in the Bahamas and focusing on personal pursuits. Over time, his public persona shifted from that of an ever-present hero to a more enigmatic figure. With few appearances and a deliberate distance from Hollywood's relentless scrutiny, today, while his film legacy remains influential, Connery's retreat from fame reflects a conscious decision to prioritize peace over public adoration, leaving fans to ponder the complexities of a life once lived in the spotlight. Shelley Duvall. In the late 1970s, Shelley Duvall emerged as an unconventional star, captivating audiences with her distinctive performances in films like The Shining and Popeye. Her unique presence and quirky charm made her a standout in Hollywood. However, after years in the spotlight, Duvall stepped away from acting, seeking solace from the pressures of fame and the industry's demands. Today, she lives a quieter life, having largely retreated from public view, but her legacy endures through her influential roles that challenge traditional narratives. Duvall's journey reflects a complex relationship with fame, inviting us to ponder the cost of celebrity and the paths chosen in its wake. Doris Day. What drives a star to step away from the spotlight? Once the epitome of charm in films like Pillow Talk, Doris Day captivated audiences with her wholesome image and melodic voice. Yet, after decades of fame, she chose to retreat from public life, prioritizing her health and animal welfare advocacy over Hollywood's relentless demands. Today, she is remembered not just for her cinematic contributions, but for her quiet life dedicated to animal rights and her lasting influence on those she inspired. In a world that often equates success with visibility, Day's journey reminds us that true fulfillment can lie in the choices we make away from the camera's glare. Bea Arthur. Bea Arthur, an iconic figure in television, rose to fame through her roles in Maude and The Golden Girls, where her sharp wit and commanding presence made her a household name. However, after decades in the spotlight, Arthur chose to step away from the relentless demands of fame, citing a desire for privacy and a more peaceful life. This decision allowed her to focus on her passion for theater and activism, particularly for animal rights. Today, while her absence from the screen is palpable, her legacy endures through the laughter she inspired and the impact she made on both television and social causes, leaving fans to reflect on the depth of her contributions. Carroll O'Connor. What happens when a beloved figure steps away from the spotlight? Carroll O'Connor, known for his iconic role as Archie Bunker in the groundbreaking series All in the Family, once commanded television screens with his sharp wit and unapologetic humor. However, after years of navigating the pressures of fame, he chose to retreat from the relentless public eye, seeking solace in a quieter life. In his later years, O'Connor focused on family and health, becoming an advocate for the importance of mental well-being. Today, his legacy endures not just in his memorable performances, but also in the lessons he imparted about the value of personal peace amid the chaos of celebrity. Terence Stamp. In the 1960s, Terence Stamp was the epitome of cool. His striking features and captivating performances in films like Billy Budd and The Collector cementing his status as a major star. However, as the pressures of fame began to weigh heavily, Stamp made the conscious choice to step back from the limelight, seeking a more introspective life. He transitioned into a quieter existence, finding solace in travel and personal exploration, which allowed him to redefine his craft and embrace new artistic avenues. Today, Stamp continues to act, but with a focus on projects that resonate with him personally, embodying a profound shift from the relentless pursuit of fame to a more meaningful, deliberate existence. Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis first captivated audiences with his mesmerizing performance in My Left Foot, earning him acclaim and an Oscar that solidified his status as a cinematic powerhouse. However, after a series of demanding roles, including his haunting portrayal of Abraham Lincoln in Lincoln, he chose to step away from the spotlight, citing a desire for a quieter life and the toll of his intense method acting. Now, he resides in Ireland, where he has embraced a more private existence, focusing on his family and personal passions. While his absence leaves a notable void in the film industry, his legacy as one of the most dedicated actors of his generation endures, prompting reflection on the cost of fame. Dean Martin. Dean Martin, a cornerstone of mid-20th century entertainment, was celebrated for his smooth voice and effortless charm, often captivating audiences on stage and screen as a member of the Rat Pack. However, as the pressures of fame began to weigh heavily, he chose to retreat from the limelight, seeking a more private life away from the relentless scrutiny. Today, his legacy endures through the classic songs and films that continue to resonate, while his later years were marked by a quieter existence, reflecting on a career that spanned decades. Though he stepped back from public view, the warmth of his performances lingers, reminding us of a time when he effortlessly brought joy to millions. Betty White. In the golden age of television, Betty White was a beloved figure, known for her sharp wit and charm on shows like The Golden Girls and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. As fame enveloped her, the pressures of the industry began to take their toll, leading her to retreat from the limelight in the late 1990s. However, this absence was not a mere withdrawal. It became a conscious choice to embrace a quieter life filled with advocacy for animals and personal interests. Today, White's legacy resonates through her enduring influence on comedy and television, serving as a reminder of a time when her laughter brightened screens, while her later years revealed a woman content in her solitude and purpose. Annette Bening. In the 1990s, Annette Bening emerged as a formidable talent, captivating audiences with her performances in films like American Beauty and The Grifters. However, after a series of acclaimed roles, she chose to step back from the relentless pace of Hollywood, prioritizing her family and personal life over the pressures of fame. This deliberate retreat allowed her to cultivate a quieter existence, focusing on her craft in theater and independent films rather than mainstream blockbusters. Today, Bening continues to act, but her work reflects a more introspective approach, reminding us that the allure of stardom can sometimes pale in comparison to the richness of a life lived away from the spotlight. Harry Belafonte. What happens when the spotlight dims and the world moves on? In the heyday of the 1950s and 60s, Harry Belafonte was a cultural icon, celebrated for his vibrant music and activism, blending Caribbean rhythms with a powerful message for social change. However, as the demands of fame and the pressures of the civil rights movement intensified, he chose to step back, focusing on advocacy rather than the limelight. Now, in his later years, Belafonte's legacy is one of profound impact, as he continues to inspire new generations through his humanitarian efforts, reflecting a life rich in purpose beyond performance. The echoes of his voice remind us that true influence often lies in quiet resilience. Eva Marie Saint. In the golden age of cinema, Eva Marie Saint shone brightly, captivating audiences with her Oscar-winning performance in On the Waterfront and memorable roles in classics like North by Northwest. Yet, as the demands of Hollywood grew, she chose to step away from the relentless spotlight, seeking a more balanced life focused on family and meaningful projects. Now, in her later years, Saint remains a revered figure, celebrated not just for her iconic performances, but for her graceful exit from fame. Her journey reflects a conscious decision to prioritize authenticity over notoriety, leaving behind a legacy that resonates with those who value the art of storytelling beyond the glitz of stardom. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz rose to fame in the late 1990s and early 2000s, captivating audiences with her roles in films like There's Something About Mary and Charlie's Angels. However, after years in the spotlight, she chose to step back from acting in 2014, citing a desire for personal peace and a chance to explore life beyond Hollywood. This decision came amid a growing conversation around the pressures of fame and the toll it can take on mental health. Now, Diaz embraces a quieter life, focusing on family and her business ventures, including a successful wellness brand, illustrating a shift from the glitz of stardom to a more grounded existence. Don Knotts. In the present day, Don Knotts is often remembered as a beloved figure whose comedic genius brought joy to millions, yet he chose to step away from the relentless spotlight that defined his early career. Known for his iconic role as Barney Fife on The Andy Griffith Show, Knotts became a household name, celebrated for his unique blend of humor and vulnerability. However, the pressures of fame began to weigh heavily on him, prompting a shift toward a more private life. In his later years, he embraced smaller roles and focused on personal fulfillment, ultimately leaving behind a legacy that transcended the confines of Hollywood, reminding us of the quiet strength found in stepping back. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo, known for her captivating performances in silent films like The Temptress and The Talking Ninotchka, reached the pinnacle of fame with her enigmatic allure and powerful screen presence. However, by the late 1940s, she chose to retreat from the public eye, seeking solace from the relentless pressures of Hollywood and the invasive nature of fame. This decision marked a significant turning point, as she traded the spotlight for a life of privacy, living quietly in New York City. Today, Garbo's legacy endures not only through her iconic roles, but also as a symbol of the artist's right to choose anonymity over the demands of celebrity, leaving a lingering sense of mystery around her departure. Andy Griffith. In the early 1960s, Andy Griffith was the embodiment of small-town charm, as the beloved sheriff in The Andy Griffith Show, a role that endeared him to millions and solidified his place in American pop culture. However, as the decades passed, Griffith chose to step back from the relentless spotlight, shifting his focus to theater and more serious roles, notably in Matlock. This transition marked a significant departure from the jovial persona that had captured audiences' hearts. Today, while his presence is felt through reruns and fond memories, Griffith's later years were spent in quieter pursuits, reflecting a life lived on his own terms, far from the pressures of fame that once defined him. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder, known for his unforgettable roles in classics like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Young Frankenstein, was a beacon of eccentric charm and comedic brilliance during the height of his fame in the 1970s. Yet, after years of navigating the pressures of Hollywood, he chose to step away from the limelight, seeking solace in a more private life where he could pursue his passion for writing and theater. Now, his legacy endures not just through his memorable performances, but through the warmth and authenticity he exuded off-screen. Wilder's retreat from fame allowed him to embrace a peaceful existence, leaving behind a rich tapestry of creativity that continues to inspire generations. Jack Gleason. What happens when a young star chooses to step away from the spotlight? Jack Gleason, best known for his chilling portrayal of Joffrey Baratheon on Game of Thrones, captivated audiences with his intense performance, earning both acclaim and notoriety. However, after the series concluded, he made the unexpected decision to leave acting behind, citing a desire for a more peaceful life and the pressures of fame. Now, he immerses himself in academia, focusing on his studies and personal projects, far removed from the glare of Hollywood. This transformation invites reflection on the often overlooked complexities of celebrity life, revealing a quieter, more introspective journey beyond the screen. Mary Kay Place. Once a familiar face on television and in films, Mary Kay Place captivated audiences with her unique blend of humor and vulnerability, particularly in the acclaimed series Mary Hartman. However, as the pressures of fame mounted, she gradually stepped back from the limelight to focus on her personal life and creative pursuits, including writing and directing. Today, Place embraces a quieter existence, often reflecting on her storied career while participating in select projects that align with her artistic vision. This choice to retreat from the relentless demands of Hollywood has allowed her to cultivate a more peaceful life, marked by a deep appreciation for her craft rather than the chaos of celebrity. Karen Allen. In the early 1980s, Karen Allen became a household name with her role as Marion Ravenwood in the iconic Raiders of the Lost Ark, embodying a spirited and adventurous heroine. However, after a series of films, she chose to step away from the spotlight, seeking a more grounded existence that allowed her to explore her passion for theater and art. Now, she resides in Massachusetts, where she runs a small arts center and continues to act in independent films embracing a life that prioritizes creativity over celebrity. This shift from blockbuster fame to a quieter, purpose-driven life reflects her desire for authenticity, leaving fans to ponder the true essence of stardom beyond the screen. Dolly Parton. In the vibrant landscape of country music, Dolly Parton once stood at the pinnacle of fame, known for her dazzling performances and chart-topping hits like Jolene. However, as the years passed, she consciously stepped back from the relentless spotlight, choosing instead to focus on her philanthropic endeavors and personal well-being. Today, Parton is celebrated not just for her musical legacy, but also for her substantial contributions to literacy and education through initiatives like the Imagination Library. This transformation from a glitzy star to a beloved humanitarian reveals a profound shift in priorities, leaving fans to ponder a deeper question: what does it truly mean to walk away from fame? Redd Foxx. Redd Foxx rose to prominence as the sharp-witted star of the groundbreaking sitcom Sanford & Son, captivating audiences with his comedic brilliance and unforgettable catchphrases. However, after a string of personal and financial struggles, including bankruptcy in the late 1980s, Foxx stepped away from the limelight, seeking solace in a quieter life. He returned to stand-up comedy and made sporadic appearances in films, but the vibrant energy that once defined his career diminished. Today, Foxx's legacy endures as a pioneer of black comedy, influencing countless comedians, while his choice to retreat from fame serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities behind the curtain of celebrity life. Frank Sinatra. At the height of his career, Frank Sinatra was the embodiment of cool, captivating audiences with his smooth voice and charismatic stage presence. However, as the pressures of fame mounted, he chose to step back from the spotlight, seeking solace in a quieter life away from the relentless demands of celebrity. Now, decades later, Sinatra's legacy transcends his musical achievements. He is remembered not just for his iconic songs, but for his complex persona and the personal choices that shaped his path. The man who once ruled the charts embraced a more intimate existence, leaving behind a profound influence that continues to resonate in the world of music and beyond. Joanne Woodward. Joanne Woodward, once an iconic figure of Hollywood's golden age, was celebrated for her roles in films like Three Faces of Eve, which showcased her remarkable acting range and emotional depth. As the years passed, she chose to step back from the spotlight, prioritizing her family life and her long partnership with Paul Newman. This decision came amid the pressures of fame and the desire for a more private existence. Today, Woodward lives away from the public eye, her legacy intertwined with the philanthropic efforts she and Newman championed, leaving many to ponder the quiet strength behind her retreat from a world that once adored her. Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman, once an indelible presence on television and film, is perhaps best remembered for her iconic role as Phyllis Lindstrom on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, where her sharp wit and comedic timing captivated audiences. However, as the years passed, Leachman chose to step back from the relentless spotlight, embracing a quieter life that allowed her to explore diverse creative avenues, including voice acting and stage performances. Today, she is celebrated not just for her Emmy-winning performances, but for her remarkable ability to navigate the complexities of fame with grace, leaving behind a legacy that emphasizes authenticity over celebrity, reminding us all that true fulfillment can often lie beyond the glimmer of fame. Danica McKellar. Danica McKellar first captured the public's imagination as the brainy Winnie Cooper on the beloved series The Wonder Years, becoming a symbol of youthful innocence and charm. However, after stepping away from the spotlight, she chose to focus on her passion for mathematics, earning a degree and authoring several books aimed at encouraging young people, especially girls, to embrace STEM fields. This pivot from acting to advocacy marked a significant shift in her public persona. Today, McKellar remains engaged in her mission to inspire the next generation, often sharing her insights through social media and educational platforms, embodying a life that balances intellect and creativity, far removed from her early fame. Estelle Getty. Estelle Getty became a household name as the sharp-tongued Sophia Petrillo on the beloved sitcom The Golden Girls, captivating audiences with her wit and charm. However, after the show's conclusion, Getty chose to step back from the limelight, seeking a quieter life away from the pressures of fame. In the years that followed, she focused on theater and advocacy, particularly for Alzheimer's awareness, reflecting a profound shift from her comedic persona to a more introspective role. Today, while her iconic character remains a cherished part of television history, Getty's legacy is also defined by her commitment to personal causes, leaving fans to ponder the complexities of her journey from stardom to serenity. Deborah Winger. In the 1980s, Deborah Winger stood at the pinnacle of Hollywood, captivating audiences with her powerful performances in films like Terms of Endearment and An Officer and a Gentleman. However, as the pressures of fame mounted, she made a conscious decision to step back, seeking a life away from the relentless spotlight. This choice led her to explore different avenues, including directing and producing, while embracing a quieter existence. Today, Winger is often seen as a figure of resilience, having found peace in her personal life and a renewed focus on her craft, leaving behind a legacy that challenges the conventional narrative of Hollywood stardom. Ruby Dee. Ruby Dee once stood as a luminous figure in Hollywood, celebrated for her powerful performances in films like A Raisin in the Sun, where her fierce spirit and grace resonated with audiences. Yet, as the demands of fame intensified, she made a conscious choice to step back, prioritizing her activism and family life over the relentless spotlight. Today, Dee's legacy endures not only through her acclaimed roles, but also through her unwavering commitment to social justice, reflecting a life rich with purpose rather than mere celebrity. Though she may have distanced herself from the glitz of fame, her impact continues to inspire generations, reminding us of the profound strength found in personal conviction. Tippi Hedren. In recent years, Tippi Hedren has embraced a quieter life, dedicating herself to wildlife preservation and her role as an advocate for animal rights. Once a prominent figure in the 1960s, she captivated audiences with her performances in Alfred Hitchcock's iconic films, becoming a symbol of grace and beauty. However, the pressures of fame and her tumultuous experiences in Hollywood led her to step away from the limelight, choosing instead to focus on her passion for animals and humanitarian efforts. Today, she is often remembered not just for her cinematic legacy, but for her commitment to making a difference, illustrating a profound shift from the glitz of fame to a life of purpose and peace. Rick Moranis. In the 1980s and early 90s, Rick Moranis was a familiar face, known for his roles in beloved comedies like Ghostbusters and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where his affable charm and comedic timing made him a household name. However, after the tragic loss of his wife, Moranis made a conscious choice to step away from the spotlight, prioritizing his family over a demanding Hollywood career. Today, he remains largely out of the public eye, having embraced a quieter life, occasionally returning to acting for special projects. This decision, rather than a decline, reflects a deliberate shift toward personal fulfillment, leaving fans to ponder the balance between fame and family.